Kyle Prepolec takes on Drew Dober this Saturday at UFC Fight Night, Vancouver, Canada. And this is a good fight. You know, Kyle Prepolec got his shot back in the UFC against Benoit Saint-Denis on short notice back in May. Had a, decent showing of himself, I guess, on the feet. You know, he was landing some okay shots at times, was putting some volume out there against Benoit Saint-Denis, making him kind of take notice, but was completely out-grappled and kind of mauled in that fight to get finished in round 2. And Drew Dober, not looking the best as of late. KO'd by Manuel Torres round 1 back in March. Took a lot of damage against Gene Silva on short notice in July of 2024. Lost to Renato Moicano before that. So he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's taken a lot of damage his last 2 fights. He's 36 years old. Gonna be 37 in like a week. So a lot of wear on the tires. You could say the same thing with Kyle Prepolec. Had a long career, 27 fights. And I still feel like Kyle Prepolec, he's slick on the feet. He's got talent. He's like a Canadian kickboxing champion. He's got crispy boxing, southpaw, good high kicks. He's got finishing ability. He's no slouch on the feet. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so very well-rounded. He's getting up there in age as well, just turned 36. And so I wouldn't be like, I don't think the odds should be as high as they are. Kyle Prepolec is a plus 350 underdog against Drew Dober, which I get. Drew Dober's a dog. He's great on the feet. He's got a lot of finishing potential. But again, we don't know where that chin's at. But I am going to go with Drew Dober still. I just think that Kyle Prepolec is just levels below the opponents that Drew Dober's used to fighting. And, the resume that he has. He's fought the who's who at 155 pounds. I don't think that Kyle Prepolec is going to be bringing anything to the table that he hasn't seen before. Again, Prepolec's good. He's underrated. Wouldn't be shocked to see him, catch Dober and hurt him and get him out of there. But he just hasn't been the most active either. I think in the last 6 fights since like 2019, since he got cut from the UFC, he's been super inactive, fighting like once a year. I think he's got 6 fights in the last 6 years. So just kind of makes me wonder where his head's at in his career. If he was really kind of taking it serious ever since he went on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC. Was he putting in the effort over the last 5-6 years, the same effort that Drew Dober's been doing? And is he kind of at the last run, you could say, and losing to Austin Hubbard, Nordine Talib, you're losing to those guys. I feel like, especially in your prime when you're 30 years old, I just don't think you're going to be able to beat somebody like Drew Dober. I just think Drew Dober's a step above him. Prepolec's only way to really win this fight is to outstrike Drew Dober. I don't think he's really going to be looking for takedowns unless he gets hurt, and I don't think he's going to wrestle Drew Dober, submit him by any means, but I just don't think he's going to be able to beat Drew Dober on the feet. Again, not really bringing anything that Dober hasn't seen before. Dober's fought the much better competition, and I feel like this is kind of a get back on track fight for Drew Dober, and maybe a swan song retirement fight for Kyle Prepolec in front of his hometown Canadian crowd. So I'm gonna go with Drew Dober to get this one done. I think it's a much closer matchup than people give it credit for. I think Kyle Prepolec is very technical on the feet. I would give probably the finishing ability and power advantage to Drew Dober, but Prepolec's got sneaky high kicks, man. He's got good counters, fast punches, so I wouldn't count him out in this one, but I do think Drew Dober gets this one done. Thanks.